The news reached Earth like a bomb. Every screen in human space showed the same horrible images. Dr. Lisa Martinez and her team, dying while trying to protect their patients. Hegemony soldiers laughing as they killed healers. The broadcast played over and over. Admiral John Carter sat in his office on Luna Station, watching the recording for the 10th time. His hands were clenched into fists. These were not soldiers who had died. These were doctors and nurses. These people who saved lives. His communication device buzzed constantly. Reports came in from every human world, every space station, every ship in the fleet. "Admiral, this is Colonel Pete Davis from Mars Defense," came one voice. "My entire regiment wants to volunteer for active duty. These men are angry, sir." "Admiral Carter, this is Captain Sue Reynolds from the Merchant Fleet," came another. "Civilian ship captain in the system is offering their vessels for military use." The calls kept coming. From retired soldiers, from factory workers, from teachers and farmers and engineers, all of them wanted to fight. All of them wanted revenge for the murdered healers. Carter stood and walked to the window. Outside, he could see ships arriving. At Luna Station, military vessels that had been in deep space for months, civilian ships carrying volunteers, even old veterans in personal shuttles coming to offer their services. Sir, his aide, Lieutenant Tom Brooks, entered the office. "Council wants to meet with you. They are talking about diplomatic protests and economic sanctions." Carter turned around. His face was hard as stone. "Tell the council that diplomacy died with Dr. Martinez. We have a different kind of meeting to attend." Carter left his office and walked to the secure conference room deep inside Luna Station. This room was built for planning wars. The walls were covered with star maps and weapon specifications. Around the large table sat the most dangerous people in human space. General Frank Davis, commander of the Marine Corps, had flown in from Titan. His scarred face showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with cold fire. Dr. Helen Ross, the chief, scientist of biological weapons research, sat across from him. She was a small woman with gray hair. She had created viruses that could kill entire species. Commander Bill Stone, from Special Operations, looked like he had not slept in days. His teams were already moving toward hegemony space, gathering intelligence, Port Carter said as he sat down. Stone spoke first. "The hegemony thinks they have one. They are celebrating across their territory. They believe they have proven that humans are too weak to be a threat." "How wrong they are," Davis growled. Dr. Ross opened her computer tablet. "I have been studying the biological profiles of every hegemony species. The plague they used on the Zephyrians was very sophisticated, but I can do better." "What do you mean?" Carter asked. "They designed their plague to cause pain before death. I can design something that will cause the same pain but last much longer. Weeks instead of days. And it will target their specific genetic markers." The room fell silent. These were humans talking about creating weapons of mass destruction. But these were also humans whose healers had been murdered while trying to save lives. Davis leaned forward. "What about our military response?" "Every human fleet is moving toward our borders," Carter said. "But this will not be a normal war. We are not going to conquer hegemony territory. We are going to destroy their ability to hurt healers ever again." "What does that mean?" Stone asked. Carter stood and activated the star map. It showed all of known space. Human territory glowed blue. Hegemony space was marked in red. "It means we destroy every hospital they have, every medical research facility, every pharmaceutical factory. We leave their military alone and target only their ability to heal their own people." Dr. Ross smiled. It was not a nice smile. "The Mercy protocols will help with that. I can create diseases that target their medical personnel specifically, make it impossible for them to treat their own sick." "Is that not exactly what they did to us?" Davis asked. "No," Carter said. "What they did was murder innocent healers. What we will do is make sure they can never heal anyone again." "There is a difference." Stone activated his own display. "Detailed maps of hegemony worlds. My teams have identified every major medical facility in their territory. Hospitals, research labs, medical schools, We can hit them all simultaneously. How long do we need to prepare? Carter asked. 2 months for the biological weapons, Dr. Ross said. 1 month for the military buildup, Davis added. My teams are ready now, Stone finished. Carter nodded. Then we have 3 months of silence. No diplomatic contact. No trade. No communication of any kind. I want every human ship to disappear from normal patrol routes. Let the galaxy wonder what we are doing. Over the next 3 months, human space became a black hole. No human ship was seen outside their territory. No human diplomat attended galactic meetings. The entire human race simply vanished from galactic society. Behind this silence, the greatest military buildup in human history took place. Every shipyard worked, around the clock. Old warships were brought out of retirement and upgraded. Civilian vessels were converted to carry weapons. Dr. Ross and her team worked in secret laboratories, creating the Mercy protocols. These were biological weapons designed with surgical precision. They would target only hegemony species, and they would cause the same prolonged suffering that the hegemony had inflicted on others. Davis trained an army unlike any the galaxy had seen. These were not soldiers fighting for territory or resources. These were humans fighting for their healers. They trained with the focused anger of people who had watched their doctors die. Stone Special Operations. Teams moved like ghosts through hegemony space. They planted devices in medical facilities. They studied defenses. They prepared to strike at the heart of hegemony medical infrastructure. On Earth, ordinary humans worked in the weapons factories. Grandmothers who had lost sons in the medical service welded armor plating. Children who had been saved by human doctors made ammunition. The entire human race focused on one goal, making the hegemony pay for what they had done. The galactic community watched with growing worry. Humans had always been the peacemakers, the diplomats, the healers. This silence was something new and frightening. Some alien species tried to contact human governments. They received the same response every time. A recording of Dr. Martinez's final words. Followed by silence. The hegemony leaders laughed at first. They thought the humans were hiding in fear. War Master Krell gave speeches about how he had broken the human spirit by killing their healers. They are too weak to fight back, he told his followers. They will beg for peace soon. But as the months passed and the silence continued, even Krell began to worry. Intelligence reports suggested massive human military activity, but no one could confirm what the humans were planning. On the 3-month anniversary of the medical team's death, Admiral Carter stood before the largest human fleet ever assembled. 5,000 warships floated in space around Luna Station. Each ship carried weapons designed for one purpose: the complete destruction of hegemony medical infrastructure. Today we remember Dr. Lisa Martinez and her team, Carter announced. Over the fleet communication system. They died protecting those who could not protect themselves. They died because they believed in healing instead of hurting. The fleet listened in silence. Every ship carried pictures of the murdered medical team. Every soldier knew their names and their stories. The hegemony thinks our compassion makes us weak, Carter continued. They are about to learn the truth. Our compassion is what keeps us from becoming monsters. But they have taken that choice away from us. Carter activated the fleet's main display, showed the route to hegemony space, showed the targets they would hit. It showed the end of hegemony medical capability. Today we become what we never wanted to be, Carter said. Today we become death itself, for our healers. The fleet moved out toward hegemony space, carrying weapons that would make the galaxy tremble. Behind them, human space remained silent, but it was the silence of preparation. It's not fear. The hegemony had awakened something terrible. It had hurt humanity's healers, and now they would face what humans truly were when their protectors were threatened. The attack began exactly 3 months after Dr. Martinez died. Started not with explosions or space battles, but with a single message broadcast across all known frequencies. Every screen in the galaxy showed the same thing. The recording played. Dr. Martinez's final moments, our team dying while trying to protect their patients, Lazamani soldiers laughing as they killed healers. Then the image changed to show Admiral Carter standing on the bridge of his flagship. "You hurt our healers," Carter said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were like ice. "Now you face what we truly are." The message ended. Then the dying began. On the hegemony homeworld of Vorth, War Master Krell was eating his morning meal when the first reports came in. His communication device buzzed with urgent messages. "Sir, human ships have appeared around our medical research station at Proxima 7. They are not attacking our defenses. They are destroying the hospital. Sir, biological weapons have been released on our medical worlds. The plague only affects our doctors and nurses. Sir, every medical facility in the outer colonies has been destroyed. The humans are targeting our healers?" Krell dropped his food. "Impossible. The humans are weak. They do not have the stomach for real war." But the reports kept coming. Human fleets moved through hegemony space like death itself. They ignored military bases and weapon factories. They attacked only hospitals, medical schools, and pharmaceutical plants. Dr. Helen Ross watched from her command ship as the Mercy. Protocols took effect on hegemony worlds. The biological weapons she had created worked perfectly. They targeted only hegemony medical personnel, causing the same slow, painful death that the hegemony had inflicted on the Zephyrians. "The irony is perfect," she told her assistant. "They thought they could kill our healers and face no consequences. Now, their own healers are dying, and there is nothing they can do to stop it." On the planet Keth, home to the hegemony's largest, Medical University Commander Bill Stone led his Special Forces team through the crystal halls. They moved like ghosts, placing charges on every piece of medical equipment. "This is for Dr. Kevin Walsh," Stone said as he destroyed a surgical robot. "This is for Nurse Amy Johnson," said his lieutenant as she wiped the medical computer databases. "This is for Dr. Chris Bailey," said another soldier as he burned the medical libraries. They did not kill any civilians. They did not touch military targets. They simply made it impossible for the hegemony to train new doctors or treat their sick. Admiral Carter commanded the largest human fleet from his flagship, the USS Retribution. The ship carried a picture of Dr. Martinez and her team in the main bridge. Every officer could see their faces as they worked. "Target acquired," reported his weapons officer. "Hegemony Medical Research Station Gamma," Meyer Carter ordered. Station exploded in brilliant light. Decades of medical research vanished in seconds. The station had been developing new treatments for hegemony genetic diseases. Now those diseases would never be cured. Admiral came a transmission from General Davis on the surface of Keth. "The medical university is destroyed. All research data has been wiped. It will take them 50 years to rebuild what they lost." "Today, good," Carter replied. "What about their medical production facilities?" "All destroyed. They cannot make medicine for their sick anymore." Across hegemony space, the pattern repeated. Human forces struck with surgical precision.
Ow.
They destroyed every hospital, every medical lab, every place where healing could happen. But they left the military alone. The hegemony tried to fight back, but they could not understand the human strategy. Their warships had no targets. The humans ignored military challenges and focused only on medical destruction. "Why are they not attacking our fleets?" asked General Vex of the Thenari Empire. "Because they want us to suffer," answered Admiral Kor of the Zenthi Republic. "They want us to watch our people die while we can do nothing to help them." The hegemony leaders began to panic. Their people were getting sick, and there were no doctors left to treat them. The mercy protocols spread through their population, causing the same agony they had inflicted on others. War Master Krell tried to rally his forces. "We must strike back at human medical facilities, make them feel the same pain." But when hegemony ships approached human space, they found something terrifying. Every human medical ship was protected by entire fleets. Every hospital station was surrounded by battleships. The humans had learned from their mistake. "They will not let us near their healers," reported Captain Dex after his failed attack on a human medical convoy. "They have 1,000 warships, protecting one hospital ship. The war lasted only 6 months. Not because the hegemony surrendered, but because they no longer had the ability to fight. Their people were dying from diseases that could have been easily treated. Their medical knowledge was gone. Their doctors were dead. On the anniversary of Dr. Martinez's death, Admiral Carter stood on the bridge of the Retribution and looked at the reports from across hegemony space. All medical facilities destroyed, General Davis reported. Medical personnel eliminated by biological weapons. Pharmaceutical production completely stopped. Research data wiped from all computer systems, Commander Stone added. Medical knowledge set back by centuries. The Mercy protocols have run their course, Dr. Ross said. No more hegemony doctors will die because there are no more hegemony doctors left alive. Carter nodded. Send the final message. The transmission went out to every hegemony world. It showed pictures of the destroyed hospitals and dead doctors. Then Carter appeared on screen. This is what happens when you hurt our healers, he said. We did not destroy your military. We did not conquer your worlds. We simply took away your ability to heal your own people, just as you took away ours. Your leaders thought our compassion was weakness. They were wrong. Our compassion is what keeps us from doing worse things to you. But you forfeited that protection when you murdered our doctors. The hegemony is finished. Your military remains. But you can no longer heal the sick or train new doctors. Your people will remember this lesson for generations. The transmission ended. The war was over. In the months that followed, the galaxy watched as the hegemony collapsed, not from invasion or conquest, but from their inability to care for their own people. Diseases that should have been easily treated became death sentences. Medical knowledge that had taken centuries to develop was gone forever. Some alien species tried to help the hegemony, but the humans had been thorough. The biological weapons had destroyed not just the doctors, but also the medical equipment. In research, it would take generations to rebuild what had been lost. At Kepler 4-4b, construction began on a new medical station. The Martinez Memorial Medical Center would train the next generation of human doctors. It would also welcome students from every species in the galaxy. A plaque was placed at the entrance. It bore Dr. Martinez's final words, "We are the gentle ones, we are the healers, but we are not all that humanity is." Below that, Admiral Carter had added new words. "We protect our healers. Those who harm them face death itself." The galactic community learned an important lesson. Humans were indeed compassionate healers who would risk their lives to save strangers, but they were also fierce protectors who would become monsters too. Defend those who dedicated their lives to healing others. The hegemony had tested human resolve and found it stronger than steel. They had attacked human compassion and discovered human fury. They had hurt the healers and unleashed death itself. The galaxy would remember, and the galaxy would be careful never to harm human doctors again. 3 weeks had passed since the human medical team arrived on Kepler 4-2b. The crystal cities were alive again. Zephyrian children played in the streets. Their blue skin glowed with health. The terrible plague was almost gone. Dr. Lisa Martinez stood in the main medical center, watching Kevin Walsh check on his last surgery patient. The young Zephyrian girl smiled up at the human doctor. Her family surrounded the bed, touching Kevin's hands and saying thank you in their musical language. "Dr. Martinez," Amy Johnson called from across the room. "The final count is in. We saved 47,000 Zephyrians, so only 3,000 died before we could help them." Lisa felt proud and sad at the same time. 3,000 was still too many, but 47,000 families would go home together. Chris Bailey walked over with his final report. The plague was definitely made in a lab. Someone designed it to attack Zephyrian DNA specifically. It was meant to kill slowly and cause maximum pain. Who would do such a thing? Lisa asked. Someone who wanted to test us, Chris said. Someone who wanted to see how humans would react. Outside, the sound of engines filled the air. But these were not human ships. Lisa looked out the window and saw dark vessels landing around the city. They were ugly ships, built for war, not healing. "Those are hegemony ships," Amy said, her voice tight with fear. Lisa's communication device buzzed. Apt! Captain Jake's voice came through, full of panic. Lisa, get your people out of there now. Hegemony forces are surrounding the planet. This is a trap. Before Lisa could respond, explosions shook the building. The beautiful crystal walls cracked. Dust fell from the ceiling. Through the windows, Lisa saw hegemony soldiers marching into the city. The soldiers wore black armor and carried weapons that glowed red. They moved with purpose, ignoring the Zephyrian civilians who ran in terror. They were heading straight for the medical centers. Why are they attacking the hospitals? Kevin asked. Lisa felt ice in her stomach. Because that's the point. They want to hurt the healers. More explosions rocked the building. A hegemony ship fired at the field hospital Amy had built. The white medical tents burst into flames. Human nurses and doctors ran from the wreckage, carrying wounded Zephyrians. We need to evacuate the patients, Amy said, already moving. Toward the wards? No, came a new voice. War Master Krell of the Vorthan Empire stood in the doorway. He was 8 feet tall, with gray skin and 4 arms. His red eyes looked at the humans with disgust. You will stay exactly where you are, Krell said. His soldiers pointed their weapons at the medical staff. We are doctors, Lisa said, stepping forward. We are protected under galactic medical laws. We cannot attack medical personnel. Krell laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. Your laws mean nothing to me, human. You have proven exactly what we suspected. Your species is weak. You care more about healing than fighting. You are not fit to exist among the stars. Let the patients go, Kevin said. They are innocent. Innocent. Krell moved closer. They are the reason you came here. Your bleeding hearts could not resist saving them. This plague was our gift to you, a test to see if humans are as weak as we thought. Lisa felt anger burning. In her chest, you created the plague. You killed 3,000 innocent people just to test us, and you proved our point perfectly. You risk your lives for strangers. You waste resources on the weak. You choose healing over strength. Krell smiled, showing sharp teeth. Today the galaxy learns that kindness is a fatal weakness. The building shook again. More hegemony ships were landing. Lisa could hear fighting in the distance. Captain Jake and the Sanctuary were trying to help, but they were outnumbered. Move the humans to the main hall, Krell ordered his soldiers. Keep the alien patients here. I want the humans to watch what happens to those they tried to save. Soldiers forced Lisa and her team into the central medical hall. Zephyrian patients lay in beds around them. Many were still weak from the plague. Children hid behind their parents. Amy tried to move toward a crying Zephyrian child, but a soldier blocked her path. Stay back, the soldier growled. She's just a child, Amy said. She's scared. The soldier hit Amy with the back of his weapon. She fell to the ground, blood running from her nose. Kevin rushed to help her, but more soldiers surrounded him.
This
is what happens when you care too much, Krell announced. You become weak. You become targets. Activated a device on his wrist. Poison gas began flowing from vents in the ceiling. The Zephyrian patients started coughing. The children cried louder. Stop this, Lisa shouted. They are already sick. They cannot defend themselves. Exactly, Krell said. They're weak, just like you. Kevin broke free from the soldiers and ran toward the gas vents. He tried to close them with his bare hands. The gas burned his skin, but he kept working. A soldier shot Kevin in the back. He fell, but kept crawling toward the vents. Amy got up and ran to help him, blood still streaming from her face. Another shot. Amy fell beside Kevin. They both kept reaching for the vents, trying to save the Zephyrian patients, even as they died. Chris threw himself in front of a group of Zephyrian children. If you want to kill them, you have to go through me first. The soldier shot Chris. He fell, but did not move away from the children. One by one, the human medical team died trying to protect their patients. They formed human shields around the 6 Zephyrians. They used their own bodies to block the poison gas. They never stopped being doctors, even as they died. Lisa was the last one alive. 17 of her team had been captured and taken to another room. She could hear their screams as Krell's soldiers tortured them. Any last words, human? Krell asked, pointing his weapon at Lisa. Lisa looked around the room. Her friends were dead. The Zephyrian patients were dying from the gas. Had worked for was being destroyed. You have no idea what you have just done, Lisa said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with fury. We are the gentle ones. We are the healers. But we are not all that humanity is. Krell laughed. Your threats mean nothing. You are weak. You think our compassion makes us weak, Lisa continued. You are wrong. Our compassion is what keeps us from being monsters. But you have just taken that away. Lisa looked directly at the camera she knew was recording everything. She spoke to the galaxy, to her people, to anyone who would listen. Remember this day. Remember that we came here to heal. Remember that we died trying to save others. And remember that there are humans who are not doctors. There are humans who are soldiers. They love us. Krell shot her. Lisa Martinez, the finest doctor in human space, died surrounded by the patients she had saved and the friends she had loved. The hegemony broadcast the executions across the galaxy. They wanted everyone to see what happened to those who showed weakness. They wanted to prove that kindness was fatal. They had no idea what they had just awakened. The medical ship USS Sanctuary moved through space like a giant white whale. Its hull gleamed under the light of distant stars. Inside the ship, Dr. Lisa Martinez walked down the long hallway toward the bridge. Her white coat had seen better days. Coffee stains marked the front, and her hands still shook from the last surgery. Captain Jake Morrison stood at the main screen when she entered the bridge. The screen showed a blue and green planet surrounded by crystal stations that sparkled. Like diamonds, this was Kepler-4 to be, home to the Zephyrians. Doctor, we're getting more distress signals, Jake said without turning around. The situation down there is getting worse. Lisa moved to stand beside him. She had worked with Jake for 5 years now. He was a good man who understood that the Sanctuary was not a warship. It was a hospital that happened to fly through space.
Ow.
Many are sick? Lisa asked. The last count was over 50,000, but that was 12 hours ago. Lisa felt her stomach drop. 50,000 Zephyrians were dying from a disease that no one understood. Zephyrians were peaceful people. They built beautiful cities from crystal and spent their time thinking about life and art. They had been friends with humans for 20 years. We need to get down there fast, Lisa said. Jake nodded. I've already called your best people. Dr. Kevin Walsh is preparing the emergency medical supplies. Nurse Amy Johnson is getting the field hospital equipment ready. Dr. Chris Bailey is studying what little information we have about this plague. Lisa felt better knowing her team was already working. Kevin was the best surgeon she had ever seen. His hands never shook, even in the worst situations. Amy could organize a medical camp in the middle of a war zone. Chris knew more about alien diseases than anyone in the galaxy. What do we know about this plague? Lisa asked. Jake pulled up a news screen. It showed pictures of sick Zephyrians. Their normally bright blue skin had turned gray. Their large eyes, usually full of wisdom, were dull and empty. It started 3 weeks ago in the northern cities. The Zephyrians thought it was just a normal flu at first. But then people started dying, not just the old or weak ones. Healthy adults, even children. Lisa studied the pictures. Something felt wrong about this plague. In her 15 years as a doctor, she had seen many diseases. This looked different, too perfect, too designed. Dr. Martinez to Medical Bay came Amy's voice over the ship's speakers. Lisa touched her communication device. This is Martinez. Ready to go down? The field hospital equipment is loaded. Medical supplies for 10,000 patients are prepared. The team is waiting for your orders. Good work, Amy. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Lisa turned to leave, but Jake caught her arm. Lisa, be careful down there. Something about this whole situation feels wrong. We're getting reports of unknown ships in nearby systems. The Galactic Council is worried about the hegemony. The hegemony. Lisa knew that name. It was a group of alien species that hated how fast humans were making friends across the galaxy. They thought humans were too soft, too willing to help others. They had been making threats for months. We're doctors, Jake. We help sick people. That's what we do, I know. Just ... watch your back. Lisa walked to the medical bay where her team waited. 25 of the best doctors and nurses in human space stood ready to risk their lives for people they had never met. This was why she loved being human. Dr. Kevin Walsh looked up from his medical scanner. The disease is attacking their nervous system and blood. It's causing terrible pain before death. Zephyrians are suffering for days before they die. How long do we have to find a cure? Lisa asked. Maybe a week before the entire population is infected. 2 weeks before they all die. Lisa felt the weight of an entire species on her shoulders. Then we better get started. The shuttle ride to the planet's surface took 30 minutes. Lisa looked out the window at the crystal cities below. Some of the beautiful towers were dark. No lights, no movement. The plague was winning. They landed at the main medical center in the capital city. Zephyrian doctors met them at the landing pad. Dr. Zelm, the chief medical officer, approached Lisa. His blue skin was pale, and his hands shook. Dr. Martinez, thank you for coming. We have tried everything. Our medicine cannot stop this plague. Our people are dying, and we do not know why. Lisa put her hand on his shoulder. We're here to help show us the worst cases first. The next 6 hours were the hardest of Lisa's career. The disease was unlike anything she had seen. It attacked the Zephyrian body in waves. First, it caused terrible headaches. Then it attacked their ability to move. Finally, it shut down their organs one by one, but the worst part was the pain. The sick Zephyrians cried out constantly. Their families sat beside them, holding their hands, crying together. Amy set up the field hospital in the main square. She worked like a machine, never stopping, never complaining. Soon, human medical equipment filled the Crystal Plaza. Kevin performed surgery after surgery, trying to save the worst cases. His hands moved like magic, but even he could not stop the disease. Chris spent hours studying blood samples and tissue. He worked with the Zephyrian scientists, trying to understand how the plague worked. By the end of the first day, Lisa knew the truth. This was not a natural disease. Someone had made this plague. Someone had designed it to cause the most pain possible before death. Someone wanted the Zephyrians to suffer. That night, Lisa sat in her temporary office and called Jake on the sanctuary. This plague was created, she told him. Someone made this to hurt the Zephyrians. Who would do such a thing? I don't know, but we're going to stop it. We're going to save these people. Lisa, we're getting reports of hegemony ships moving toward this system. Maybe you should come back to the ship. Lisa looked out the window at the Crystal City. Lights were coming back on in some buildings. Human doctors and nurses worked through the night, fighting to save Zephyrian lives. No, Jake. We stay. We're doctors. This is what we do. She ended the call and went back to work. Outside, the battle for an entire species continued. Human healers worked beside Zephyrian families, fighting against a disease designed by evil minds. Lisa did not know that in the darkness of space, enemy ships watched and waited. She did not know that someone had planned this plague as a test to see how humans would respond. The hegemony was about to learn something important about humanity. They were about to learn that humans would die before they abandoned the sick. They were about to make the biggest mistake in galactic history.